Well, good morning, Greene County. How are you?
Morning.
That was nice. We're starting to get more people in the seats, which is really awesome. Thank you for joining us this morning. We've changed up our programming just a little bit this morning because we had a program scheduled for today that just didn't work out for today, but we're going to bump them down the road, so they'll be back. So we've got a couple other things in our hat that we're going to pull out today. Luckily, we have our friends over at Road and Bridge. They're going to come up and talk to us for a little bit about some of the cool projects that are going on around Greene County. And we're going to have Mark Webb, our chief engineer over at the Highway Department, come join us for a few minutes and ask lots of questions. And then later in the year, he's going to come back and he's going to bring pictures of what he's been talking about. And so we're going to have an opportunity to really see what they've been doing. And they bring some really cool PowerPoints together. So I love seeing all the bridges and the culverts and the roads and all of that stuff as it comes together. You guys' minds are amazing because it takes a lot of time to think about all of that different things. And I know we've been talking about the parking lot across the street. And one of those things that I never really thought about, and I don't know if you guys think about that there's so many different layers underneath that road and underneath there that has all of the different cabling and the telephone wire and all the different plumbing. And, there's just different things that we don't think about because we just see the parking lot. So they're putting their minds together and they're working on that too. But that's down the road, which we'll see one of these days. So without further ado, we're going to have Mark come up and then we're going to close out with this video. We'll get done a little bit early, but I think you'll really like this video too because it's got a lot talking about leadership. So come on up, Mark.
So just as introduction, Adam called me yesterday and he said, "Hey, Angie needs a little fill in today." And I said, "Well, okay, what do I need to cover?" And he said, "Well, just, a couple of minutes of what we've been doing." So I prepared a 2-minute presentation. So, and then I get here this morning. Oh, no, you got okay. So let's get started though. Probably the primary project we've been working on, it occupies a lot of our time, or at least a lot of my time, is the Kansas extension on the south side of the city. And it's been a very interesting project. Some of the major things that have gone on that you're not going to see is there was a high pressure gas line that needed to be moved. I think what was so interesting about that was that relocation took place while that gas line was under pressure. I mean, the welding and everything. So that was just how you guys going to do this? So the company that did it was Castle Construction out of Texas, and they were very kind and let me kind of crawl all over the place and look and ask questions. So that was a lot of fun, just being a part of that, and it was very interesting. From there, we've been working a lot on it's called the Conspan structure. It's a bridge, essentially a big arch structure. That has taken seemingly an inordinate amount of time, but it is coming along. We're about to finish that up. Once that's completed, then a lot of the earthwork can really move ahead as far as on the kind of the north end of that project. On the south end of the world, there's a steel structure going in, steel bridge. If you're driving down Plainview and you look back to the north where that extension is going to intersect Plainview, I encourage you to take a look at it. It's kind of interesting. It's the bridge, it's a steel bridge, and it's not only has what we call a vertical curve, so a dip in it, but also has a horizontal curve, so it's moving kind of both directions at the same time. Pretty unique, and it's, I think, been a kind of a challenge to build, but they've been doing it and it looks good. And I'd encourage, like I said, if you're driving by, glance over there and take a look at it. Something unique in our area. Both of those bridges are really. The Conspan, you'll not see another one of those probably in Southwest Missouri. And then this bridge is kind of unique as well. Right now, today, Weaver is closed down. It's been closed down for about a month. I get a phone call just about every day, somebody telling me, well, questioning kind of our judgment on that. Anyway, do you want me to transfer those to you, Robert? Okay. I was wondering. Anyway, And rightfully so. You know, you cut down a kind of a major thoroughfare there and people are interested in what's going on and why. And hey, I don't see anything happening today. Why not? Um, Whether it's like you mentioned, there's a lot of stuff going on. There's some utility work going on right now, gas line, water line getting installed. And so those things have to get installed before we can really lower that intersection. Once that's completed, we're hoping within 6 to 8 weeks, that intersection will be opened back up and kind of letting traffic run through that area once more. Moving ahead to phase 2. So this portion of this work should complete in October of this year, and that'll take Kansas Extension all the way down to Plainview Road. On the heels of that will be phase 2, which will go from Plainview south to around Farm Road 190. And that's essentially the point where the east-west arterial will cut across there. And so that'll be prepared and waiting for that connection in the future. When that is, we don't know. Right now, those plans are being developed. Our hope is that the bidding will take place this fall and the contractor can move in this fall and start removing the trees and preparing that for the next phase of that construction. Adam, I can't remember, was the completion spring of 2025, I believe? Is that roughly?
That's right. It'll be very similar to phase 1 in that it'll be about a 24-month contract from start to finish.
Yeah. So we're moving, we're just, hopefully we'll move seamlessly into the next phase of that. Again, that'll be bidding late this fall. A couple of the current projects that we have that you guys are probably not out and about looking at. Farm Road 44 is a small box culvert replacement up north of Willard. It's almost complete. We just started it a month or so ago, so that work's going really well. We've got Farm Road 115 and 140. That's west of town. That's Hazeltine and 140 there. That's going to be a roundabout. Notice to proceed has been given, but there's been some utility issues there. The contractor's trying to get resolved. Looking forward to getting that completed or started and completed. We've got a bridge in the works as far as it's been a bid and we've let that. It's Farm Road 175. That'll be south of town. It's right along county line, Christian County line. That'll be this summer. And really, the next thing I want to talk about is I brought along this. Wayne Housley in our office, he prepares this on occasion. It's just a status report for upcoming projects. And so one of the things I'm kind of impressed about the work that Wayne does and the way the highway department kind of pursues projects is this is about 6 or 7 pages of different projects. Wayne does our bridge inspection work. And so he'll go out and inspect bridges on a routine basis, some frequency. He's keeping track of it as he sees deficiencies that may need attention. And maybe replacement, he'll program those in. And so this is the nice thing about having, his work. The things that he's doing is he's always looking for something that needs to be done down the road. And so, and we're not talking, like next month, we're talking 2 years, 5 years down the road. And if you think about it, that's pretty important to what we're doing because we do the work that is like immediate. Hey, this happened today. It needs to be fixed today. But we also are looking way down the road and trying to plan those projects, not only the plans and specification, funding, the personnel, our inspection staff. It's just kind of, there's always something in the works and you're always looking downstream to see what you're going to be picking up to keep people busy. That sounded kind of bad. Keep people busy. I guess keep the system running, keep it up to, keep it maintained. I will say this, recently, I was installed, I go to these meetings called SIMCOG. It's a Southwest Missouri Council of Governments. It's essentially a regional planning board. We're on a kind of in a region standpoint, they're doing the same thing that Wayne is doing. They're kind of like, as a group, we're saying, hey, what are important projects here in Southwest Missouri and how are those going to be funded? And as I meet with those people, a lot of city governments, county governments. And I think one thing that we really enjoy here in Greene County that we may not realize is just that we do have funding. When you sit in these meetings and people are scrambling to get a match, to get federal funds, and that's we don't even think about that. It's kind of like, well, if we need the money, we've got it. And so that's nice to go to those meetings and realize that we've got a pretty good deal going here. We got a good system. People are maintaining it. And so anyway, any questions about anything we've done or what we're going to be doing? Yes, ma'am.
Mark, I want to thank you for joining Greene County. I thought this is kind of on a personal note.
Okay.
Can you tell us what your favorite thing about being part of the Greene County family or the Road and Bridge group? What's your favorite thing about joining the county?
Well, it was Rick Artman. And Rick's gone, so. No, it's kind of interesting. Maylin sent out that little quick survey this last week, and I was going through that. And I think it was kind of funny. I was looking through that, and it said something about that question. And it was like, what was the culture? I think it was kind of the culture. And so honestly, Adam and Rick really developed, they have a culture developed, and it was attractive. I liked it. I enjoyed it. And so I enjoy it. I still do, Adam. Yeah. So honestly, I think that's what I saw. And they, yeah. So anything else? Yes, sir. Alan.
Comments on James River, work going on.
James River.
I thought they were gonna expand, this may be more of a MoDOT, expand James River from National to either Campbell or Kansas.
Is that like that additional lane each way they're in? So it'll be, yeah.
I didn't know if we had any participation.
Yeah, it's all, that's all state.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have any participation in that.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
What is your
Oh.
personal feeling about roundabouts?
You know,
I only ask because I've recently had to go to Willard quite a bit, and I have to go through those roundabouts
Mhm.
that are unique. Because one has that you got to get off lane, and the other ones are, hey, you can go wherever you want to go lane.
Okay.
So do you anticipate more of those in the county? Or do you think they're a useful tool for where they're going to be used?
it was kind of funny. I don't mind them. What I don't like are the people that don't know how to run through them. You that guy?
No.
Okay.
The one by the Nature Center, where Republican and Glenstone kind of merge, that can be a really fun time because, people don't know that they have to stay out. You can kind of run them wide.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it's fun. I live out in Ash Grove, so I'm going through those every day. And the thing that irritates me is the people that pull up there and stop. And they'll see somebody like
on the
the other
side.
side. I guess I'll need to wait for that guy. No, come on, let's go. So let me tell you real quick. I just got back. My wife and I took a trip to Europe a couple weeks ago. And so when you're there, tons of roundabouts, everybody knows what to do and they work well. And it's just kind of a deal. So to answer the question, I don't know of any other in the works, but I don't mind them. If somebody proposes it, fine. But it is interesting. Yeah. Anyway, sorry about that.
No. It's just the uniqueness of them that takes people by surprise. Almost like when we first put in the diverging diamonds under the
Mhm.
overpasses and things like that.
Oh, yes.
Well, I thought of something to add to that. And like one of the reasons, like the one that Mark mentioned that is in the works, that we're getting ready to start construction on at 140 and 115. One of the reasons that we ended up, I guess, with that design for that particular intersection, I mean, one of the things that we have to balance a little bit in the county, right now, we have very limited traffic signals that we deal with. We don't have a traffic signal crew. We don't do that type of maintenance. Any of the signals that we do have that we are responsible for maintaining are maintained by the city of Springfield through an agreement with the county. But I know that particular intersection was one that we evaluated it for the potential of, doing a traffic signal because the amount of traffic that's there today and that we project to be there in the future. There's just a lot of growth around that area, a lot of increasing residential development. So we looked at doing a traffic signal, but what was interesting when we modeled the roundabout versus a traffic signal, at least at that particular location, and it's a multi-lane roundabout that we'll be putting in there, but the capacity of that compared to a traffic signal, the roundabout actually, we score intersections based on like a level of service, and we give them they get kind of like a letter grade. Well, the roundabout actually scored, according to the model, better for a longer period of time than a traffic signal would have, to accommodate the traffic movements that were at that location. So it was just kind of an interesting analysis for us. That wasn't one that we had done at many locations. And like Mark said, we don't have we don't have any other intersections right now that we're looking at trying to do a roundabout, but we've done 2 recently in pretty short time. That one and the one that was finished over by Rutledge Wilson Farm at Farm 146 and 129. And I mean, I will say they seem like they're functioning. That one's functioning well. That one I was amazed at the amount of traffic that comes through there during some of the peak hour periods. So that's just one of the things that we look at. I guess I say that just to point out that as an alternative to a location where we might have to install signal equipment and maintain that for forevermore, it is an attractive solution from that standpoint. And it's a lot simpler to, I guess, maintain from that perspective.
You got a question?
How will the Kansas Extension meet up with Weaver and Plainview? Like, will there be lights? Will they go under or over?
It'll be at grade intersections, and it will not be lights at this time. So when it's all said and done, this go round, it'll be essentially a 2-lane road from from Republic Road south, with the roadbed, we'll call it the roadbed, built for 4 lanes eventually. So the idea is right now that's going to be it'll be a 2-lane road at grade intersections, stop signs, much like it was. And then as time goes on, then we got the capacity to make that into 4-lane further south. So, yep. Okay. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
So I drove out there on Republic Road. When does the opening open up from where you can go straight across Kansas, going straight up?
Yeah.
When does that open up? You turn off Republic Road on Kansas.
Well, it'll probably be one of the last things they do. And I asked that question early on about, and they're afraid if they open it up right now, people will start trying to use it.
And that makes sense. That makes total sense out there.
Yeah. And so, and it is interesting, just so you'll know that like I mentioned, we shut down Weaver and Farm Road 145, which was Kansas Avenue. And that's a major, lot of traffic runs through there, a lot of bus routes run through there. But it's interesting, most of the calls that I've been getting are from residents who claim that people will stop, move the barricades, and drive on through and not bother putting them back. And I can kind of see it if hey, you're on your way to work. Oh no, they closed this road. I don't have time to go around. So, and I can see it's still open. So you shove a barricade and you run on through, and I'll do better tomorrow. One lady was reporting like, no, it's the same lady. She drives a little, Honda Civic, and she pulls up there every morning, shoves it over, and drives through. Like, what's her excuse now? I mean, she saw yesterday it was closed. Why is she coming back? But anyway, the sheriff has been helpful in having a deputy out there kind of helping people remind them that don't do that. If that's all, I'll turn this back over to you, Angie. Okay.
Thank you, Mark. Well, we're down to our last 10 minutes and the video that we had for you is 18 minutes. So we're gonna dismiss early today unless you got any other questions. Anybody got any other questions? Okay, we'll ask you a question then. Tell me, what is some of the content so far this year in Huddle? Been enjoying content so far? Been enjoying Huddle? Is there any content that we haven't covered that we can maybe add to the program coming up? Because next quarter we need some slots filled. So tell me about what you want to see coming up. I mean, what interests you? I know this great stuff here, this leadership stuff is excellent. So what else would be good to fill and teach and train and educate about Greene County that you want to see more of? That's the question.
It's not something to really train on, and sorry to throw me under the bus, but I know our workshop does some amazing work.
Yes.
So maybe like an informational huddle of our, like all of the services that general services has to offer.
Yes. Yes. Can I get you on deck for that again? Because you did a great job. Okay. Yeah, okay, yeah. Okay. Anybody else? Anybody else chiming in virtual? Okay. Well, be thinking of that. We've got content that we gotta start filling up for the next quarters. So if, is there anything out there that you're thinking of that we can put in there? Just let us know. Send me an email. Reply back to the Huddle Minute. Don't reply all. Let go early. Have a good day.